Hey guys, Tina here and welcome to another weekly reads video. Now just let me tell you that last week was not a good reading week for me at all. I just really didn't feel like reading and when I did read I was sort of distracted and aside from that I'm sort of in the midst of spring cleaning and that did take some of my time. But the one good thing that came out of that is the rearrangement of these shelves. And I'm really proud of how they look, so I will insert a clip for you right now to see, for yourself. Here are my babies, looking gorgeous. I'm so happy with how they turned out. So this is what you usually see behind me. Well, you see only a small fraction of this usually, but yeah. Upper half is my fantasy books. As you can see, I just love them like this. They're so gorgeous. Sometimes I just stand in front of them and stare at them. And my family makes fun of that, and constantly they find it hilarious. But how can I not just admire them? They're so beautiful. Anyways, so yeah, just to show you a little bit more. As you can see, I have a lot of knickknacks, which will have to go at some point. So yeah, here we have, can you see? Here's my mystery and thriller shelf. And well, here we have, where's my finger? Here is the classic shelf. And beneath that, behind the desk, which, I'm not sure if you're going to be seeing anything much. That's all young adult. But yeah, just so, so we'll know what I'm talking about when I'm bragging about nice shelves. I'm really so happy with how they look right now. So now that you have seen that gorgeousness, we can finally move on to the book that I managed to finish this week. And as probably some of you, or a lot of you expect, it was Queen of Fire by Anthony Run, which is book 3 in his Raven Shadow trilogy. Now, it might have been my mood or just the book itself, I'm not sure, but this book did drag for me at points, before we get to the conclusion. There's a lot of build-up, and again, this book is sort of fractured, we get to follow the story through many characters, and while each has its own part to play in the story, I sort of felt it sort of dragged a bit at some points, and I didn't like that. Now, I did come to a realization that I have issues when binge reading a series, and that is that if I'm too long in a world, I do tend to get tired of it, and by the time I get to the last book, I sort of want to rush it and just see how it ends and, be done with it. And yeah, so that's my issue, and I will have to deal with it. But aside from that, this was a good conclusion. I definitely didn't see how it's going to end. I thought the ending was sort of, not rushed, but really fast. It's sort of like this, and it was done. The confrontation with the enemy. But then the ending, the last bits, that sort of felt right. For what happened, it was an ending that I could see being realistic and all that. So yeah, before I mumble even more and, yeah, I did like it. It was not my favorite in the series. I still, love Bloodsong the most out of all of the books. But yeah, it was a good trilogy and I'm really happy that I read it. But now we move on to newer pastures and all that. So I was reading one other book that, I forgot to mention last week because I was reading it last week already. But yeah, I sort of forgot about it and now I do have to mention it. And it's called Beyond Shame by Kit Rocha, something like that. And I heard about it on one of the channels here on BookTube and I decided to check it out, and it was free on Kindle, so I decided to get it naturally without checking what it is. And it turns out, I thought it was a romance book, but it's actually erotica. And I'm not going to pretend that I know what the plot is, that's why I'm going to read it to you from Goodreads. Because honestly, all the sex in this book is really distracting me and I have no clue what the plot is. And I have like some 70 pages left. And honestly, I don't even know if there's a story. There's sex everywhere. I'm not sure if there were like 20 pages without it, so I'm really not sure what the story is, but I will read it to you, yeah? All Noelle has ever wanted is a life beyond the walls of Eden, where only the righteous are allowed to remain, and beyond her stifling, restrictive existence as a councilman's daughter. But only ruins lie outside the city, a remnant of a society destroyed by solar storms decades earlier. Really? Well, that's interesting. The sectors surrounding Eden house the corrupt, the criminal, men like Jasper McCrae, bootlegger and cage fighter. Jace clawed his way up from nothing to stand at the right hand of Sector 4's ruthless leader, and he'll defend the O'Kane gang with his life. But no fight has ever prepared him for the exiled city girl who falls at his feet. Her innocence is undeniable. But so is their intense sexual attraction, and soon they'll be crossing every boundary Noelle barely knew she had. And they do. But if she wants to belong to Jace, first she'll have to open herself to a dangerous world of sex, lust and violence. And she does. A world where passion is powerful and freedom is found in submission. Well, that's all very interesting. I didn't realize that's happening, aside from the sex part, because really, as I said, I have 70 pages left, and if there's a story, I completely missed it, because I don't think there were like 20 pages without sex in it. And it's sex of every kind, you know, hetero, lesbian, threesomes, BDSM, everything. So if you're into that, or, you know, occasionally are you into that, you can just pick this book up, and it's, well, a good distraction, let me say that. But yes, that's one I plan to finish this week, but aside from that, I do want to sort of focus on smaller books. I know that a lot of you are participating in Tom Topple, and good luck with that. But given that I just finished a whole trilogy of books that are, you know, over 700 pages each, I decided that I want to try something smaller, and that's what I'm gonna do. And the two books that I decided to pick up are The Traitor's Blade by Sebastian de Castell. This is book one of his Greatcoats, and you probably have been hearing a lot about this series. I think the last book is coming out soon, so I decided to, you know, pick the first book up, and it's called The Greatcoats. Well, the series is called that, and it's sort of similar, I heard, to The Musketeers. So yeah, it's a short one, the first one, and the second one is bigger. But yeah, I decided to pick it up and have some fun with it. And the other book that I will try to read is We Are All Completely Beside Ourselves by Karen J. Fowler. I bought this book the last time I was in London, so that was in 2014, no, 2015 I think, on the airport. And I think what really drew me to it, because I do not know the synopsis, but there's one phrase here, and it's called, and it says, "What if you grew up to realize that your father has used your childhood as an experiment?" And that is what really drew me to this book. I do not want to know more, but it's about this girl that, I guess, is questioning her whole existence, and I do want to try it out. And it's, again, a smaller book, shorter book, and I do hope to enjoy it. But yes, that's all I plan to read this week. Yeah, my plans are really small, but before I leave, there's somebody that wants to say hi and thank you. Just wait. So here is my doggie that I talked about last week. I just woke her up, and well, she's actually looking at the camera. That's a first, because usually the moment I point a camera or a phone at her, she just hides. But she wants to thank, well, I do, anyway, she doesn't know about it, but I want to thank all the well-wishers that wish her all the best. We have been to the vet today, and she was not happy, but she survived, yeah, and she's really tired now. And I'll put her down, you know, so she can go back to sleep, right? So I guess that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed all the distractions and talk about books. If you did, give it a big thumbs up, and see you in my next video. Bye!